Judge was counter-rigged out. Nigeria would have been better off by Obajeun Jonah Ayodele. My transition hour by Judge is all that is needed now for Nigeria, for Nigerians, for PDP, for APC, for the Third Force, RIP, for the angry twittering young people, for 2019, for Atiku, runaway visitor-in-chief to the USA, for Obi, for Buhari, for Osinbajo, money sharer-in-chief. We are all still trapped in Judge's transition mood, in motion, in anger of what was up to be, what was and what is to come. Judge has claimed that Jega conspired to rig him out. Yes, Jega refused to drive equal distribution of PVCs between North and South. Jega ensured that the war-ravaged North had higher PVC collection stats than the peaceful South. Jega actually went on the streets to drive this unequal distribution. It was indeed part of Jega's strategic objective as implied by Judge in his transition hour. In his quest to totally finish Judge, Jega introduced card reader that somewhat prevented some level of electoral fraud. The card reader in part, did not allow for full-scale electoral fraud. Yes, this was designed to frustrate Judge's ambition as PDP had relied heavily on conventional voting process laced with ballot stuffing, snatching, intimidation and fraudulent vote count. But Jega counter-rigged Judge with the card reader. A classic example was the card reader deployed to Achuk. Jega made sure that the machine rejected the Jonathans, albeit they were allowed to vote afterwards. Elder Godswill or Ayubi tried to pull a comeback, but Jega mounted a brick wall. Jega knows his onions, especially on how to build walls. Trump needs a masterclass from him. As alluded to in Judge's transition hour, Barack Obama did a State of the Nation broadcast to Nigerians and asked them not to vote for Judge. It was part of the counter-rigging strategy by the international community. In fact, Obama deliberately withdrew support to Judge to fight insurgency which the opposition used to campaign against him. Some governors in Judge's PDP worked against his ambition, while some governors defected to fight him from the other side. It was all plotted in favor of the opposition. INEC, Jega, politicians, Nigerians, international community, all conspired against Judge who did everything right to be re-elected. The transition hour found all of us guilty. The large scale of corruption under Judge, widespread insecurity, artificial economic growth, depleted vault, deteriorating quality of life, lack of social and infrastructural investment could ordinarily have gotten Judge re-elected, but foolish us, we were deceived to do otherwise. And finally, transition hour has judged us all. If Judge had won 2015 election, he would have fought corruption to a standstill. Cut Judge some slack. He demonstrated political will to remove Sanusi Lamido Sanusi from CBN when the now Emir was running his mouth like a whistleblower. He would have deployed the same political will to operationalize TSA, BVN, IPPS because he was the one that started them. Versus whistleblower policy abused by Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, Judge would have deployed trumpet blower policy which would be louder. He would have yielded to NAS on getting a stronger EFCC chair rather than allowing Magoo to perpetuate himself in acting capacity. He would have recovered more loots and put it in the care of Sambo Dasuki. He would have oiled NAS' relationship with some gifts to allow budget passage on time. The country would have moved faster, forward into yesterday. Not done yet on his anti-corruption crusade. Judge would have added more responsibilities to Disney Duke's portfolio to keep churning out billionaires in their numbers and cloaked oil subsidy in a different nomenclature. Judge would have become an anti-corruption hero. He would not just be a poster boy on anti-corruption, he would have been nominated by the UN as the face of anti-corruption leadership, with his portrait displayed in the open beside the UNGO hashtag at the UN HQ. On the economy, Judge would have prevented a recession by mopping up all the loots, in dollars, that his cronies kept in trust. He would have allowed market forces to determine our FX. He would have diversified the economy and find alternatives to our revenue sources. He would have gotten refineries working again at maximum capacity and up daily throughput. He would have even prevented crash in oil price through his exemplary diplomatic exploits. Don't forget that Judge got Nigeria into the UN Security Council twice. So as a poster boy for the UN, he would have stabilized oil price above $100 per barrel through diplomacy in OPEC. As attested to by Chidoka Asada, a former aviation minister, Judge had a long list of projects already conceptualized, initiated, signed, awarded. Judge was just waiting for his re-election to complete all the projects within 2 years without borrowing a dime. Lagos-Ibadan Road, East-West Road, 2nd Niger Bridge, all would have been commissioned by now. He would not have even needed to make noise about rail lines, as we would have gotten used to infrastructural development without the traditional media hype. All our airports would have become world-class and top-rated. More importantly, Boko Haram would not just have been technically defeated, it would have been completely neutralized with heavy investment in ammunitions and security votes. The sect would not have even had the breathing space to factionalize, as Abubakar Shakal would have been captured, rehabilitated, reintegrated, and he would have been running an NGO on peacebuilding by now. Herdsmen and farmers would have formed business relationships and nurture peaceful coexistence. With the empowerment of OPC in Lagos in the build-up to the 2015 elections, Judge would have created a ministry to cater for OPC and IPOL, just like Niger Delta, to settle the boys and keep them busy till the next election cycle. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would have been made the permanent secretary of the ministry, reporting directly to the presidency. Nigeria, through Judge, would have started permanent residency program for foreigners who wish to relocate to the country and get Nigerian citizenship. In the end, what would forever remain in our memory would be that Sir Judge wrote a book and issued a disclaimer on some parts of the contents while anchoring it on piracy. He may already be preparing a rejoinder to his own book. With Judge, we would have been a nation on the rise, into oblivion. May God continue to save us from cluelessness. Obajeun Jonah Ayodele writes from Lagos. He is on Twitter via @Obajeun.